most people, especially your listeners, they've worked on themselves. They want to heal. They want to have a joy-filled, free, peaceful life, or they wouldn't be on a call like this. But we get stuck because we work on a certain area, and it really takes all three. And the three areas are, we have to look at the damaging ideas that we have typically gotten in childhood, and we're not even aware are damaging and destructive. And we have these patterns of thought, and we know from science that the average person is thinking 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day. It's a lot of thinking. And the thinking is the root, because thoughts create an emotional reaction. And so the second area is the emotions. And if we don't feel, we won't heal. And most people, we live in this world that loves the intellect, loves left brain linear thinking, figure it out, fix it. But don't bring those feelings here. And so most people grow up stuffing, denying, suppressing, and repressing their feelings. And if you do that long enough, it will come out sideways as pain and symptoms, and it will never show up on a test. Mm-hmm. So we have to find and release the damaging thoughts and the damaging emotions if we want to heal. And the third area is this incredible energy field. And this is the new trend. We're now really in the age of energy and frequency and information medicine, if you would call it. And so the energy field's the key, the secret key, and the fast path to healing. And you can even find these unconscious belief systems in the field. You can definitely find these emotions. Emotions are frequencies, and they show up in the field. So if people are stuck, if they don't remember, and most people don't remember, even things from childhood that really imprinted and deeply impacted their lives, and then they are participating in the very problem they're trying to get rid of, but they don't know it. So most people would have fixed themselves by now if they could have, but they're unaware of certain aspects that you can find in the field. That's where I come in and do what I came here to do, which is help people release that rapidly and shift back into their natural state.
What gave you the idea, after having gone through this and all that, to go this route? I'm always interested in that aha that gets you to to say, wow, I've got a plan. I mean, you had to have something. You have the International Chronic Pain Institute, and it's working.
So as I mentioned, in those meditation, in those spiritual experiences, I had like a year of just that rocked my world, where I had meditation after meditation where information was revealed to me about this field and energy. And I can look back now and see my entire life was preparing me for this. Dancing since the age of 4, being trained to be a dancer. It's all about energy. And then my work in the visual arts with glass and ceramics and handmade paper. I've always been using my hands and working with energy. And I didn't realize I was becoming super sensitive to the information that's everywhere present. Now, when you clear out enough of your own damaging thoughts and beliefs and emotions, which is what I had been working on, I became very aware that we're living in a field. And this was before I ever discovered there's science around this as well. That was many years later. And so I also started to have experiences where I had these urges to, for example, the first time it happened, my boyfriend at the time, something huge fell on his wrist. And within seconds, it blew up black and blue, and we knew it was damaged. And it was a Sunday, and it was happening so quickly that even the thought of driving to the emergency room, and I just knew, take my hands, put it around the area. And both of us in astonishment witnessed within seconds, his wrist went back to normal. And then I started going, okay, something's going on here, right? And it got my attention, obviously. I had quite a few experiences like this that were really extraordinary. They were not normal, average, everyday experiences that led me to understand that I had an ability that was developing. And I started to get guidance more and more about this. So then, I have to share this. So I come from an allopathic medical family, a conventional medical family. And in our dinner discussions growing up, it was show me the data. Well, I had no data, I had no double-blind studies, but I knew this was real, and I was very drawn to more spiritual and intuitive and artistic right brain information, and I just never questioned it. I knew it was real. And so I had the courage to follow that, but at the same time, I was a bit cowardly for quite a few years. So that's why I went back to school and I got all these degrees, and I tiptoed around what I really knew I was here to do until one day on Kona in 2006, I believe it was, I taught a private yoga workshop. And see, once I started teaching yoga, I realized this is ancient wisdom. The yogis and other cultures have talked about invisible spirit world for centuries. And I started feeling more comfortable with what had been happening and developing and awakening in me. And I became a Reiki master in the early 1980s to call it something, but I knew that it wasn't Reiki. Well, I finally dropped. So I was on Kona in Hawaii teaching this workshop. And I said to everybody, look, you're here for yoga, but if you want Reiki while we're here, I'm more than happy to facilitate that. And everyone wanted it. And I went out to this garden area where I had my massage table set up, and I went to do the first session, and I went to raise my hands and go over to touch the person. And I heard an audible inner voice go, "You're done with Reiki, just stand there." And I gasped and I stood there and I just walked around, and I knew to work in the field above the body. I knew not to touch the body, whereas in Reiki, you touch 26 points. I knew don't touch. Listen deeply and feel into the field. Now, let me tell you, during the very first person, I had two voices going on. One was, oh my God, this is the most amazing experience. And I felt all kinds of information in the field. And the other voice was going, this woman is going to open her eyes and tell you you are the biggest quack she's ever met in her life. So, there was a battle going on. And to make it worse, she didn't move an eyelash. There was no reaction. I thought, good God. So anyway, I finished the session. I knew when to finish. I bring her out. She sits up, opens her eyes, and looks at me and starts weeping for 20 minutes and said, Deborah, that was the most profound experience I've ever had. Now, I didn't know anything about her medical history. She said, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and I have had chronic pain from head to toe for 15 years. I am completely pain-free. I know exactly how I got it, where it began. My mother, who passed away 15 years ago, showed up in the session. We had a conversation. We made amends. I became at peace, and I will never have this pain again. So you have to know, I was thrilled, I was shocked, I was stunned, and every person at that workshop had a similar experience. And so from that day forward, I said, God, I'm in. Just show me what to do. I don't know how to market this, but show me what to do, because this is what I came here to do. And I've never looked back.
When did you write your book?
Good question. I tried to write it for years. I couldn't get it out. I think it was 2009. I don't remember, quite frankly.
It's a great title. Why do I still hurt? basically.
Yes, yes.
And that is the question, is that people continue trying many, many things.
Yeah.
People ask us, they say, why do you have so many modalities? Which one is the right one? And we say, you're missing it. Is
Yes.
that there's one that fits you, and for certain reasons just for you, and that's why we offer so many. This is very intriguing. What came next that you realize you're a healer, you realize this is working. How are you now going to apply it and put it online and do all the things you're doing?
So I came back from Hawaii and I literally said, if, I need help getting this out. I have no clue. At that time, I didn't even know what online was, really. So the phone rang. Again, I'm telling you, divine intervention, developing spirituality, spiritual connection is the key to everything. So I got home from Hawaii, the phone rang, and it was a person who said, we have people lined up for you to work on. You've got to come to Phoenix. I had just moved from Phoenix to California. So I went back to Phoenix for a while and started working on people. And my initial business started from word of mouth because people got results. Then I opened an office here in California in Del Mar. I started, again, having synchronistic experiences. People showed up. People said, oh, I have to bring my friends. It literally took on a life of its own. And then I started to notice that there were these things called telesummits and interviews. And I said, I need to be doing that. And I had no clue. I literally was not technologically savvy in the least. But I started asking for guidance and investigating. And before you knew it, I discovered an entire world that I needed to learn about. And it was pretty terrifying at first and intimidating, but I knew I was here to help. And I was willing to do whatever it took. So I learned as much technology as I could. I hired an assistant. One thing led to the other. Eventually, I discovered that I could really help more people virtually and doing large groups. I actually knew that right away and started doing in-person groups and teaching and all of that. But eventually, I closed my office and took this online, strictly online, about maybe 6 years ago. And I've never looked back. It's been an amazing journey. So I've been able to, work with people all over the world that I would never have been able to meet or help.
Right now, we are in a very unusual situation. And sometimes the chronic pain now manifests from worry, anxiety, fear, all of the things because of the lockdown for a year, and maybe we're continuing to go and go. That has to have impacted your work. What are you finding that you're dealing with now that perhaps you hadn't before?
Yeah, it's never been busier. It's never, the anxiety is through the roof. The old statistics showed that 2 out of every 3 people was paying money to get help with their stress. That was before COVID. So I can't, I don't know what the numbers are now. They're saying 1 out of every 2 children is having a mental health issue. I mean, it's insane what's going on. And again, it goes back to what I said earlier. The predominant thoughts that we're thinking every single day, that we're repeating, rinse and repeating, they are generating emotional reactions. And then the emotions generate more thoughts, and the thoughts generate more emotions. And you end up round and round in this revolving door. And this is why the anxiety and depression are through the roof. And so we have to get a hold of the tools to learn how to release and change our thoughts and our emotions rapidly. And we have to be able to do it virtually because so many people have been quarantined. You can't even get to a doctor if you need to. And there really are solutions. I mean, I've been able to help so many people who literally were terrified to leave the house and terrified of being sick. And we also know that fear is a frequency that lowers your vibration, which affects your immune system, your nervous system, your blood pressure, your ability to sleep at night, your pain, your everything. And so we've got to get back to living with the connection to love, not fear. This is what's ruining our health.
Absolutely. And I believe you actually have a high-speed healing course that's going to be coming up. Would you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh, I'd be delighted. So on April the 19th, I am doing my favorite event. It's a virtual online event, so you can attend from anywhere in the world. It's called the Day of High Speed Healing. And you will literally be immersed. It's an immersion where you spend over the course of one entire day, and we break it up into 2 parts. You'll spend over 5.5 hours with me. And I will be teaching. I will be literally sharing with you the top 13 reasons that I've discovered that lie at the root of all pain, symptoms, patterns, suffering of any kind, not just physical pain. But if you've been suffering with depression, anxiety, panic attacks, binge eating, if you have repetitive abusive relationships, maybe you're in debt all the time, whether it's your wallet or your waistline, it doesn't matter. This High Speed Healing Immersion Day will help you. It's designed for people who are busy and who want practical solutions and that don't want to take 10 years. And so I will be doing a combination of things. Yes, there's teaching, but it's not just me lecturing at you all day. It's very interactive, experiential. So I'm going to be taking you through different processes, different techniques that you can continue to do on your own at home. And I will be working with people one-on-one and helping you if you're stuck. You can bring your toughest questions to the Day of Healing. And then my superpower, the High Speed Healing Method, I'll be doing 2 full sessions, one in the morning and one in the late afternoon. And it's a very life-changing day for people. The range of possibilities is pretty incredible. And, on the one side, people say it's so relaxing. My head has not been quiet, maybe ever. They sleep for the first time in years. But on the other end of the spectrum, I've had, for example, a woman with multiple sclerosis who was in a wheelchair her entire life stood up and walked on that day.
Wow.
So, and everything in between, pain leaving, the anxiety lifting, you will have an experience of some kind. It may not change absolutely everything in your world, but it can, and it often does. And I just, it's my favorite event to do because I'm rather impatient.
I can relate.
Give us the place where we can find this.
If you go to www.internationalcpi.com/DOH. That stands for Day of Healing. You'll find it there.
We'll let our chat angels put that in the chat area. And also, it'll be in the bio, hopefully, that people can see this and get to you.
And I've found that often when you get together in a group session like that, there's a dynamic that happens that creates healing more than just a one-on-one consultation. Do you also find that?
I love you for saying this. So people think they have to work with me privately. You will typically expand and heal much quicker in a group for exactly the reason you just said. There's a consciousness. And in fact, it's quite remarkable to watch how every group that comes together, there seems to be a theme, and there's no accidents who shows up, and everyone benefits from everyone else. And you may become aware of issues that are going on with you that you would never find, or it might take us a year to find working privately, but someone that I work with in the group, or someone will say something and all of a sudden your body responds and reacts and lights up, and ding, 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 you realize, oh my God, that's going on with me. And so it is such a mutually beneficial experience. I can't stress enough how the power of the group really is the high speed secret.
We are actually out of time, but I want to give you the last word. If there's anything you want to statement or anything you want to say to our folks right now.
I really want to, if you're suffering, I don't care how long you've been suffering or what you've been told, what you believe to be true about it. If you are suffering from any kind of pain, symptom, or pattern, please know that healing is possible. It may be faster than you think. And don't give up hope. Even if it's not me, find someone to work with. Do not stop. Just take the next indicated step, because your miracle may be right around the corner.
Beautiful. It could not have been said more eloquently, more gracefully, easefully, and I look forward to connecting with you again and again. So we're out of time, and we're going to... Any last words from you, Lee?
No, except did everybody hear this? This is a group. We have established this as a group. We help each other. There's group dynamics here. You walk into the circle of 12, you start working together. We are together, even though we're online. There is magic in this group. We help each other in a way that perhaps you're not even aware of. Listen to Deborah Wayne. This is what she's saying, and it works. And that's why we're here.
Wonderful. So take a 10-minute break, and we'll see you very soon for the Circle of 12.